No, I know. We're already live. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to special edition daily download episode 126. And this week, like we promised on Tuesdays, we will also be live on LinkedIn. I'm Boca Ben. This is my co host,
Melanie, or Artemis League.
Melanie Artemis League. And if you don't know already, every single day we break down the news stories from the esports, gaming, blockchain, NFT, metaverse, and beyond for everybody here. You could catch this episode, all of our episodes, and many more of the great content creators, channels, and events at ritualmotion.com. And of course, all the news that we get comes directly into our inbox vis-a-vis Rex Opportunities, the daily download. You can go to rexopportunity.com, subscribe, and you will get the same stories, everything in your inbox every single day. Okay, I think that's it. Is there any more housekeeping? Oh,
Um,
yes. Comments. Yes, we are live. So we want to hear your comments. If you have things to say, if you don't like what I'm wearing, whatever it is, drop your comments. We want you to be a part of the conversation.
yeah, and I'm keeping an eye on. We are dual streaming on LinkedIn and Ritual Motion Guild, so I will be watching both and trying to keep up with both. So here we go. The
Dual
challenge
streaming.
accepted.
Okay, it's
I
the first
know.
time, so you know
First
everyone has
time.
to be a little patient with us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then one other announcement, just a reminder of Creators on the Block. Ben, you've put a lot of effort into it, and I know Ritual Motion as well. We're going to be going over Web3 content, metaverse, all that stuff March 2nd. You can find that on Ritual Motion or Eventbrite. If you go to this session on Ritual Motion, it is linked in the chat. It's my story first. So, Enthusiast Gaming's esports audience surpasses 145 million social followers globally. While that number is impressive, what I liked about this story is they talked about how time spent watching game streams, reading forums, participating in communities is nearly equal to the time spent actually playing video games. Now, as somebody who is esports and gaming adjacent, I love that that's happening because I actually spend more time watching streams than playing games myself. And then watching talent and listening to influencers. So, this is something that I have been anticipating will happen. Kind of like how there's more people watching NFL than really playing. So, again, this is very exciting news for us who are not avid gamers.
Absolutely. I make that point all the time, like with football. Like people have put on a full set of football equipment or actually kicked a field goal. Very few, but everyone watches. And yeah, Enthusiast Gaming and Luminosity, so many great content creators, XQC, Nick 830, many others. So not surprising that people are tuning in to watch some of the great content creators.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to another story. It's not really a story, but the gaming stadium has halted their stock voluntarily. So why do I bring that up? Only because it's very exciting. Anytime a company halts their stock voluntarily, it means there's some big news coming. So I'm just dropping that as a story because there's probably some big news coming. And they're great guys based out of Vancouver, a lot of great esports events and tournaments and streams. And we work with them basically every single week through Even Matchup Gaming. So excited to see what happens there. Comments are already coming in. How will Emergency Act affect crypto? A good thing, the Emergency Act in Canada. Is that what you mean, Ryan? How would the Emergency Act? The question, just if the audience isn't familiar, there it's funny because I was going to wear a political T-shirt to talk about the convoy in Canada, and I opted not to. And of course, the first question or comment is related to that. The context is that the GoFundMe and subsequent Give, Send, Go pages that are raising money for the protest, the trucker protests in Canada, those funds have been frozen by various stakeholders. So the natural question is, how else can you get money there? And then that's where crypto comes into that discussion. For sure, I think if governments think that they can stop protests by halting funds, then maybe it'll be crypto. But at the end of the day, all these crypto platforms are regulated anyway. So I kind of think that even if there was a GoFundMe campaign on Coinbase or in Canada, some of the Canadian platforms, when push comes to shove, if you enact the legislation, you could probably shut that down too. So, yeah, exactly. So that's the context in case you didn't know.
Thank
All
you.
right. So, yes, big news hopefully coming from the gaming stadium.
It kind of leads into our next story about banning things. So, Garena, we are still debating how to say it. Free Fire is banned in India. And this goes along with quite a few banned games and that they've been notified. But you had a couple points that you wanted to bring up about Free Fire with that.
Yeah. So, firstly, on the surface, you kind of just think, like, why can't these two countries get along? Like, why can't India and China, just for the sake of gamers, get along? And, so all these games can be there. But I really do understand. I'm not a big mobile gamer. Melanie, have you played Free Fire or
I haven't.
PUBG? No?
No.
Yeah. So I had played PUBG, and then when I played Free Fire, it's like it was the exact same game.
Yeah.
So I do understand where they're coming from with copyright. And believe me, this is not the first. There are so many clones of so many games that we've talked about before. And it looks like now they're putting their money where their mouth is, and they're going to be blocking it.
Yeah, and it looked like they had banned PUBG for a while as well because of, I'm assuming it's the same problem of being related to Tencent and Chinese companies. But now they have a specific India based game that they are allowed to play for PUBG.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a huge one when they banned PUBG, like the biggest game in India, and it's back. But yes, the ongoing feud is definitely poses a lot of risk for the gaming industry.
Yeah.
What's next?
VidCon.
Oh, okay, fine. So VidCon. The only reason, I'm not so up to date with all of these conferences, but the headline is VidCon is back after 3 years for 2021. And here's the whole list of creators. And I just think if there's a conference that was closed because of COVID, should the name still be VidCon? Like, is it too close to COVID? Should they maybe think of a different name? Ta-dunts. Okay, maybe the setup wasn't great there. But yeah, I just thought that was funny that it's called VidCon and it's like basically almost COVID. So
Yeah.
that's all I got on that one.
Yeah, we wish them luck. Hopefully, nobody gets COVID while they're there. So,
Absolutely.
moving on. Super Bowl. So, if you aren't familiar with the United States, we love our Super Bowl, and the ads drove a ton of YouTube views. Some of the top ones were for Amazon Alexa, Zach Braff and Donald Faison with for T-Mobile, and Hyundai and Jurassic World, along with a few others. So we're curious, what were your favorite Super Bowl ads if you're watching them? I think we both had similar but different. Mine was the Coinbase one, going back to being a millennial here and watching that DVD pump back and forth on waiting for it to hear the corner or hit the corner. And then, of course, hitting that QR code as well. So Coinbase wins it for me. And then also Mint Mobile being upside down. I thought that was hilarious as somebody who's a slight recycle hippie.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. So many winners. I didn't see all of them because I was watching half the game from the hot tub and it was kind of hard to hear, but it's a separate story. But of the ones that I did see, definitely. I like FTX it's another crypto platform, with Larry David, about Larry David being wrong about everything and wrong about crypto. So I thought it was funny. I'm a
Yeah.
huge Seinfeld and Curb fan, so that was the best one for me.
Yeah. I think I didn't, that one kind of went over my head because I'm not a Seinfeld person, but it was still funny. And if you are curious from watching these Super Bowl ads and you want to learn more about crypto, join us for Creators on the Block on March 2nd. We've got some
Great,
awesome leaders.
great tie-in. Yes, exactly.
All right, I'll let you take this one because you are such an enthusiast of Swift. Zwift.
Zwift, yes. Okay. So for someone who has never used the app, I'm a huge fan. Zwift is a very cool app that really gamifies sort of actual physical activity. So, for example, if Melly and I wanted to go for a bike ride, we could sort of see each other's avatars in real time. So we can then say, "Hey, we want to cycle. Where would you want to go riding? Um, Napa
Ooh.
Valley or
I'm like a fan of going like on the European, maybe like Tour de France.
Tour de France." Okay, so you're probably in much better shape than I am. So yes, we can then go to Tour de France
I
and we
didn't
could
say I was in
cycle.
shape, but that would be what I
Yeah.
wanted to see.
It would be a great ride. So we yeah, it just it monitors our actual speeds. So for example, if Melanie is speeding away, I would then see her move faster on my screen. So it really brings that social aspect to physical activities. Typically for Zwift, it's riding and running. They have a treadmill and a stationary bike. So this is very cool that they're going to do a real sort of, well, a virtual real NYC ride. So there'll be a race through what some sort of course they've made in New York
Yeah.
City, and you can race and see your friends and everything. And I really think that is the future. I mean, I think, Zwift is awesome. It makes activities that I think are so boring, like running on a treadmill and riding a stationary bike, so boring. And it makes it fun, competitive, and social. So that's
Yeah.
that's Zwift.
That's Swift. I'm
Yeah.
curious how like it works with like the internet. I know like my mom was really big into her treadmill for a while, but the Wi-Fi kept like going out, and so whenever she was trying to do a course, it would like just freak out and crash. So hopefully they've solved that issue so that you're not like winning a race and then it just disconnects. That'd be sad.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is there, lag and things like that?
Mhm.
So I think that's definitely an issue. We do have another comment with Microsoft's recent acquisition. What do you feel about the diversity of the gaming industry now, considering Microsoft now may own a big chunk of the gaming titles? Melanie, you want to take that one first?
Well, we have the hypothesis that it's not going to go through. And I know that we kind of had different opinions about this, and mine's changed a lot over the past few days. I do think that making hopefully games playable on more consoles, but I don't want them to, take over and make it where you have to play on one. So I'm cautiously optimistic that'll be fine, but I also know that there's sometimes issues with monopolies. That's why we have regulations.
Yeah. In general, do I like this deal? Not really. I do think there's already too much consolidation in the gaming industry. I think it's harder and harder for indie developers to now compete against the big boys or girls, big players, sorry, neutral, the big companies. And I do think there's a chance that the deal is not going to go through. But at the end of the day, if it does with Activision, I think given all of their issues and the lawsuits and the treatment of employees at Blizzard and that culture, do I think that Microsoft will do a better job running Activision than Activision? 100%. Through that lens, I do think it's a good thing, but I think in the United States and Europe, they're really going to take a look at that, and this could be Joe Biden's um, make an example out of a company, type of deal where he may decide to shut it down.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do hope that work conditions get better for employees. That was a good point.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for our LinkedIn Live. We will be back tomorrow around the same time, usually 12. So definitely check out ritualmotion.com for the daily download and all the other awesome events coming up. And of course, rexopportunity.com to get the daily download. And hey, if you just want to be watching on LinkedIn, we'll be back next week. Same time, same place. So thanks everyone for tuning in and have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.